Because the very same plan that allows for the potential for pain is the very same plan that's going to heal our souls. You see, God could have just like created people and be like, hey, everybody here, I'm God, okay? Don't listen to the snake. I mean, he said don't listen to the snake, but we listen to the snake. But he could have said, all right, you know what? You guys messed up. That's okay. I'm going to kill the snake. He's going to be gone. It's going to be happy now, okay? Everybody's good? He could have done it. He could have literally picked any other plan to save the world, but what was the plan that he chose for our salvation? Bless you. He chose a plan that would involve the pain, the slaughter of his own son. Before he even created any of this, he decided that's going to be the plan. So when we talk about Emmanuel, when we say the words, God is with us, we're not talking about a God who's distant, who doesn't understand, who is unconcerned. We're talking about a God who knows pain, who knows suffering. And yes, Jesus escaped from the slaughter of Herod, whereas the other children did not. And the word doesn't tell us a lot about Jesus growing up, but I want you to think about this. Do you think that Jesus carried that with him? As he grew, he found that the story was, you were born in Bethlehem. You had to go to Egypt because why? Well, because they were killing babies in Bethlehem, so we got to get out of there to Egypt. Well, think about this. Now that's part of his story that he's carrying with him. Think about this. He's in Egypt, and what does Matthew say in verse, let me find it. Verse 15. Guys, put chapter 2, verse 15 up for a minute. I want to point something out. The prophecy that Matthew quotes, what does he say? Out of Egypt, I have called my son. Why is that significant? Well, what happened in Egypt? Go ahead, anybody. Israelites were slaves. What did Pharaoh do before Moses was rescued? Go ahead, say it. He's killed babies again, right? You guys see a theme? Like the enemy wants to steal, kill, destroy. That's not God's plan. That's not what he designed. That's not what he created. So if you're grieving, I want to just point something out. You're like, why did God do this? God's plan was not for destruction to happen. He left us to our free will, and people chose to do that with their free will. So Jesus is in Egypt, and he's reminded this was the land where they killed babies. So again, I left Bethlehem because they were killing babies. Now I'm in Egypt. Hey, guess what our history is? They were killing babies, and we were slaves. God saved us from there. As a child, anybody familiar with child development, when that's a part of your formational story, you carry that with you. When that's a part of your cultural history, you carry that. And so when it says that Jesus carried our burdens, we're not talking about just this one moment in Calvary. We're talking about as he was growing, as he was developing, he felt the weight of the sin of this world daily. That's why when he grows, there's actually a moment where in Luke 13, where Herod is like, they're like, hey, you got to get out of here because Herod wants to kill you. And I don't have this up here, but I want to read Luke 13:32. He said to them, go and tell that fox, because I cast out demons and perform curses today and tomorrow, or cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I finish my course. What's Jesus saying? Herod, I know that you're all about destruction, and I know what you did, and I know what I've been carrying all my life, but you are not going to win because my plan is going to result in the healing of humanity, and I am going to overcome death, and I am going to overcome all the evil that you embody. I want us to read one more passage. The book of Isaiah, chapter 53. The very plan that allowed for the potential to pain is the plan that's going to heal our souls. Isaiah 53. Who has believed what he heard from us? To whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant. We're talking about Jesus now. This is a prophecy that was given hundreds of years before Jesus came. grew up before him like a young plant, like the root of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised, rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. I want to just pause there. We said a minute ago, Jesus is familiar with pain. We're not talking about like, hey, I know what you went through. I went through some pain too. We're talking about he was a man of sorrows. In other words, he carried with him the weight of the sorrow of humanity. When you pray to Jesus, you're not just throwing up a Hail Mary hoping like maybe he hears me, maybe he doesn't. You're talking to somebody, hey, I understand pain. I know sorrow. I know broken heart. My heart has been broken. I understand what you're going through, and I'm with you in that place. See, Jesus didn't save our brokenness from outside the brokenness. Jesus entered the brokenness to save it. You ever think about that? He's God. He could have saved it from outside, but he entered it. He experienced the brokenness. He experienced the crushing. He experienced the rejection. And he saved us from the inside. I want to skip to verse 5. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was a chastisement that brought us peace. And with his wounds, we are healed.